Hello and welcome to Perils of the Warp. This is episode. Oh fuck, I've been away too long. Episode number 37. My name is Roman, and bitch, say your name.
John.
All right, there you go. All right, boys, we've been away for a while. We missed a week or two by the time you hear this, really. Just because after our event, our food drive event, which we'll talk about shortly, just schedules fucked up like majorly at work for both of us, so we kind of had to.
I went on vacation.
Like I said, majorly fucked up. We're sorry. It's a long-winded way of saying we're sorry, but we are back, and we were just talking about it. So let's talk about our food drive event. Food drive event was, I would think, a smashing success.
I would concur.
We were able to raise maybe about 2,000-ish foodstuffs.
A little, probably more than 2,000. I don't know if it was like 2,500 or maybe a little closer to 3, but it definitely went over 2. Just because we had a lot of people, because Heroes Retreat's in the mall, Wonderland of the Americas Mall.
Mm-hmm.
That's Crossroads Mall for some of you who are a little bit older,
Mm-hmm.
and for those of you who weren't there or not a part of Red Star or whatever
Mm-hmm.
have you. There's people going, just going about their normal daily thing, and they see all this food on the floor, and they kept stopping, and they were asking like, "Hey, what's going on?" And we tell them, "Oh, we're doing this gaming thing for charity," and they're like, "Oh, is it okay if we come back and drop off some food?" And, yeah, sure, go ahead. And there's a Target right around the corner, so people were just dropping off food. People who had nothing to do at all with gaming or Warhammer in general,
Mm-hmm.
just dropping off food because they saw that much food, and they're like, "Oh, cool, seems like a good thing to do."
Mm-hmm.
So I want to say thank you to all the random people who were not even a little bit nerdy, who just out of the goodness of their heart dropped off food because they saw what we were doing.
Yeah, and I want to give a shout out to Mike Blanton because, of course, he helped out with the AOS stuff, like we were saying.
Yes, he did.
And shout out to Cesar Alzaga.
Alzaga.
Yeah, something shit happened. It turns out that a lot of the Kill Team's community here in town decided to go to another store where they were going to do a tournament, a 2v2 tournament kind of thing. That kind of sucked because that just left Cesar just kind of with his dick hanging in his hand. You know what I mean? That just sucks because he was going to organize that. He was working on it, and then no one shows up for it. But we did, wrangle him into the 40K side.
Yeah, I was
so
like,
he was having some fun.
Heroes Retreat has several armies that are there that belong to like the shop guys that are open for people to be able to use.
Mm-hmm.
And I told Mike Brown, I was like, "Hey, we need to get this guy an army. I'm not letting him go home."
Yeah.
Just because his entire fucking crew didn't show up.
Mm-hmm.
So we got him into 40K with us.
That's good. But, yeah, it really, I'm going to say it, even though it might not be the right thing, or might not be the best thing for the community, but they left a real bad fucking taste in my mouth about that. If you were going to go to the tournament, that's fine, but you could have at least let like Cesar know, because you knew he was throwing it, you knew that he was gonna do it. Contact him saying like, "Hey, I know a lot of people are gonna maybe go to the tournament instead," so he wouldn't have to put his time into that. And that's the thing that sucks. That's the thing that bothers me about the situation, is that he spent a lot of time preparing, and nobody showed up. Like, there was not a single person to show up for Kill Team. So that's the thing that bugs me about it. But they, everybody has their priorities, how they want to, how they want to use their time for gaming. So I can't blame them. But I thought it was a shitty thing to not even let them know that, hey, there is this thing happening as well. But other than that, it was a good thing. The Heresy guys came out. Everybody but one had showed up. So we planned on 8, but it turned to a 3v3 with me in the middle, and it was fun. I mean, my Sakaran got blown up fucking turn 1, or I didn't have anything. I didn't even get. I placed it down and took it off. So it just got blown up. But those guys were cool. Everybody was offering me beer. I couldn't have it because I just can't have a beer at the moment. But it was a fun game. Even though like I ended up, I didn't end up uh, being tabled, but I was pretty fucking close. I think I had a rhino on the table. That was it.
That's
By
the
the end
only
of
reason
turn
you weren't
5.
tabled. Is what the fuck is a rhino gonna
Exactly. I think people just saw like a rhino and they're like, "Nah, we're not gonna fuck with it." You know what I mean? They felt bad for me.
do? Let this guy have
So,
his one movement phase.
yeah, exactly. Fucking Horus got taken out like a bitch. Like, what are the Alpha Legion headhunters? I
Mhm.
think. Yeah, they had the heavy Volkite culverins, I believe was what they're called. Yeah, they just like fucking shot him off the table. Basically, he like failed a few saves, and then those culverins next turn just fucking wiped him out. I was like, all right, I didn't get to do anything with him, but he was there. And did anything really do it? No. The Justarans were wiped. My other Terminators were wiped. Attack squads were always gonna be, you know, uh, gone. So I was like, fuck. I was like, my list fucking sucks.
Well, you had to endure like a shooting phase with multiple fucking people.
And the thing with that is that I was just in the middle, so I was just an open target no matter what for both sides. For the loyalist and traitor, it just it couldn't be helped. I was kind of I knew I wasn't gonna get much done, but I was hoping that Horus would at least fuck something up. Well, it didn't happen, but either way, had fun. And I'm hoping everybody else had fun with the mission and everything that was going in. What about the 40K side?
So for 40K, we had 14 people. So I just put us all on one of the big wooden tables. We had 7v6, I think. So 13 people.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. It was an odd number, and to balance it, I had to not play my Chaos Army, which I brought, and I ended up using the Warhound Titan, which was 4,000 points, which is two people's worth of points. And man, that thing is a fucking beast. It survived first turn. It shrugged off last cannons like they were fucking water pistols. Like dollar store water pistols. Not even good fucking super soakers. I think it saved about 12 last cannon shots on turn 1 because it has a 3-up invul save.
Wow.
And it went down in close combat because in close combat it doesn't have a invul save. It has a 3-up armor save.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know, I kind of feel like maybe it should be a 2. It's a Reaver Titan, or a Warhound Titan. Maybe a 2-up like a Land Raider. I don't know. But either way, he had to face down Mortarion and like 2 or 3 Bloodthirsters, and they all had a -4 rend. So I got no save whatsoever. So I got taken down pretty hard. It was a really fun game. It was a fucking bloodbath for the Imperium, which I knew it was gonna be because Chaos has that free summoning. What do you call it? Open play or narrative play. That's really the only time that Chaos can shine with that summoning. In match play, Imperium's probably gonna win 9 times out of 10. But open play is all about the Chaos.
You heard it here. Next year is gonna be match play.
It won't be.
No, it's never gonna be fucking match play. Not at the charity events. There's no reason for it to be match play at all, because we're not trying to find a winner. We're just trying to have fun. And then
I really wish like Mike Blanton was here with us, or somebody who could talk about the Age of Sigmar side. All I know is Mike Blanton played his Trolls, the new Gloomspite. He was doing all Trolls, and he just whomped all over a bunch of death stuff.
Yeah, I think by the end of turn 2, like, he was done. Yeah. Because they basically made it like little 2v2 tables. The 2v2. Goddamn. 2v2 tables. It's a lot of 2s. Yeah, apparently by like turn 1, it was like, yeah, it's pretty much over. And then by turn 2, he was done. Like, they were done. And then there was the second table that I believe Trisha, his wife, was on.
Yeah, Trisha, Robert Steele.
Yeah.
She was playing
Stormcast,
and he was playing the Fish Elves.
But yeah, Fish Elves. Gotta love them Fish Elves.
I don't know what they're really called.
The Ideneth Deepkin.
Deepkin.
But yeah,
Uh,
Last time did we talk about our AOS game? I believe we did, right?
I don't remember.
Hmm. Well, sometime before the actual event, me and John played an AOS game. That's probably like the games played. I have not played anything since the game day, just because I haven't had time. Work's been calling me in, and then my day off, not my days, but my day off. I just kind of want to chill and really not do much, as I think a lot of people would kind of agree with me. Every once in a while, you need a fucking fuck everybody kind of day and just do nothing. But since we're talking about games played and we're pretty much done, what about some hobby progress? Have you done anything?
Hobby progress. Hobby progress. I finished building Perturabo
Mm-hmm.
because I wanted to use him as my demon prince for the game. I finished my 3 Venom Callers that I also wanted to play the game with. I attempted to start painting them. I was trying to paint the what do you call the black and yellow thing?
Chevrons.
The chevrons. I attempted to freehand chevrons. It was terrible. Will said it looked like a honeybee fucked a zebra.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
That was a good one.
X said it looked like Michael J. Fox painted it. Everybody's so mean to me.
Yeah, well, you deserve it. You know?
Yeah, well.
Look at you.
Thanks.
No, but that was another one. Was it X or someone said it? No, it was Mike Blanton. He was like, it doesn't. I can't even finish that. Man.
He was like, it's not that. It doesn't.
He just gave up mid sentence, and I was like, oh, that's the best one right there. Can't even fucking justify it. Anything else for your hobby progress?
No, mostly because I went on vacation, so I haven't had much time other than getting ready for the game.
You know what? Fuck it, we're counting this as hobby progress. Didn't you go to the Warhammer Citadel?
Yeah, I was gonna talk about that later.
Yeah, we
I
can talk
guess
about it
we're
now.
now.
We can just talk about it now.
So I went to the Warhammer Citadel. Woo! I was not that impressed, honestly. I think it was a little small.
Uh-huh.
They have tables set up, but they have like they're display tables just for you to like look at.
Uh-huh.
And if they do have events, which I know they do,
Mm-hmm.
they have to clear like a lot of shit and just move shit out of the way
Mm-hmm.
to put up tables.
Yeah.
From what I can see, because they don't really have enough space to hold any kind of event
Mm-hmm.
without moving their entire store around.
Yeah.
They had 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 glass cases
Mhm.
filled with unpainted models, which looked cool, but they were unpainted. A little bit of paint would have been nice.
Could you buy those?
No, they were,
Pre-assembled?
no, I don't think so. It would have been nice. They had their cafe thing.
Oh, okay.
You buy your food or coffee, whatever. I didn't try any of that. We
Mhm.
were. I promised Eric I wouldn't stay there too long, so
Mm-hmm.
I made my purchases and we got the fuck out. Took my
Okay.
selfie with the big red blood angel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I did get. Also, I built those. I built a custom Forge Lord
Okay.
in Cataprakti Terminator armor with the C-beam cannon.
Mm-hmm.
He's just gonna sit back and shoot that baby.
Mm-hmm.
And I built my Thousand Suns Praetor, which I got there at the Citadel.
Mm-hmm.
All 1,000 sunned out. He looks awesome.
Mm.
And I started working on the Tech Marine that I bought. It's Tech Marine and MK3 armor,
Mm-hmm.
which looks really cool, but I'm not going to use it as a Tech Marine. I'm going to use it as a Praetor.
Okay.
Because Praetors can be upgraded with the servo arm
Oh,
and
okay.
become a Warsmith.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm making them look a little bit nicer than just a regular Tech Marine. So
Mhm.
I'm not done. I'm not finished with them, but I want to make them look nice and pretty.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Anything else?
That is it.
Yeah. When I knew that John was gonna go to the Citadel, I wanted the Heresy books. Of course, the ones that are not in production anymore. The book 4 and book 6. Because I just got not just, but a few months back, I had gotten the first Heresy book, the black book, but it was in hardcover, and now I want to continue with hardcover, and they don't produce the hardcovers for 4 and 6. Apparently, once they sell out of hardcovers, they will not be producing any more hardcovers, which kind of sucks for people like me that were just trying to get into that game and they like the look of that hardcover, or they already have a few of them and now they have to go into a secondary market to get those, which are going to be costing now more than the book should be because it's out of production. So that kind of threw a wrench in what I'm going to do.
GW in general seems to be kind of like an elitist type thing. Like, hey, here's a $35 codex, but there's also this $100 codex that's fancy and has extra stuff, and we're only going to make about 100 of these. So if you get it, you get it, and if you don't, you don't. And
I mean, I get the limited, like the limited edition, because they say like, hey, look, there's only going to be this many of them.
but they just do it so often.
Well, it's because like it's for a codex, right?
Yeah.
I can understand that. I can understand for a codex, like, look, everybody's gonna get the regular codex, and the regular codex is gonna be what everybody's gonna go for. But if this is your faction, this is something that you absolutely love and want, then go ahead and spend a little extra money for this limited edition. It's gonna come with a few extra things, but you can go ahead and get that. I get the limited time thing.
Which
Like
I would do for some of my more loved armies, like,
Yeah.
Death Guard.
Mhm.
Except that in 3 to 4 years, there's going to be another edition with another codex.
And that's the thing that you have to know as like that's where you have to make the distinction. Like, are you gonna collect this, or are you going to just use the codex? Because I get the codex to use it because I like I of course like the lore, but I also like collecting them because that's my army. Like my Dark Angels, I have my Dark Angels codex from 6th, 7th, and 8th, and now 8th edition. Like, I still have those codexes, so that's why I collect them. Did it occur to me to get uh, the limited edition? No, because it's just a full art kind of virgin cover, which is cool. Like, it looks cool, but it's not any different from just a normal one because I'm not like gonna display that. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna have it in my bookshelf with all my other Warhammer books. The thing with the Forge World books that is upsetting is that, like, yeah, like, they have these hardcovers, but once they sell out, they are just going to move over to a soft cover, which I understand what they're trying to do, but it fucks over a lot of people that we already know that Forge World in itself is a more expensive company. Like, anything you buy from Forge World is just going to be more expensive just because of the quality kind of that they put into it, right? Or like in the case of models, it's like the resins, and resin's just a little more difficult to work with. But when it comes to the books, that upsets me because that was just the standard. You know what I mean? Now you're just kind of changing the standard because why? Just, if you're gonna do that, change all of them to softcover. Why just 2 of them? You know what I mean? Why not let people know, like, hey, these books we're going to have our hardcovers like the limited edition. Like, look, the hardcovers are now going to be a limited edition thing. And if they wanted to do that now, even with the red books, you know what I mean? If they wanted to say, like, hey, look, these hardcover red books, once we sell out, they will be out of stock. We will be turning over to the softcover. But they never announced that. They just kind of sprang it at the Weekender, I think, one of the Weekenders. And they were just like, yeah, now they're just going to be softcover for 4 and 6. The most popular ones that everybody's really going to want. And especially, it would be nice to have them in hardcover. We're not going to do that anymore. We're just going to do it in softcover. It's going to be more affordable, like $5 cheaper. It's not really that big. So that's the thing that pisses me off about that. The limited edition stuff, that doesn't piss me off because I know that. Like, I come from a collector's market, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I collect comic books and shit like that, so it doesn't really matter, like, the limited time thing. It's built into me already. But when it comes to, like, the Forge World side, that's a harder pill to swallow.
I mean, there is a lot of things that they do that, like, for instance, I got you that, whatever the fuck that thing is.
The Night Excelsior?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I got that for you as a gift because that's the only place you could get that.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I mean, that Well, that I think is specifically because it's like it was the Warhammer Day. You know what I mean? And I think they may have allocated some to like the Warhammer, like the Games Workshop stores, like the official stores. That they allocated a couple of them there, but the big majority was gonna be
At the
at the
Citadel.
Citadel, and if you're in the UK, the what is it, Warhammer World.
Hmm.
So, or the cafe, I don't know what the fuck it's called. But they, the again the limited time thing, I understand, and even like the exclusive, like hey, you can only get this there.
The fucking Terminator, what you call it, Skullface guy,
Terminator
Chaplin.
Okay.
People got that because they were close enough to get it, and then sold it for like $200 online.
Yeah. That's kind of the flip thing, but that one was a lot more difficult though. That one you had to get like all the like 10 different stamps, so you had to do different events from specifically from Games Workshop to like punch a thing, and then you would be eligible to like purchase one. So I don't know what the fuck that was about, but I mean now it's just like go here, get it, boom, done. Or if you know somebody, and if you know somebody that's gonna be there, go ahead and let them know. Like, I didn't bother to let you know about that because I was just like, oh, that's just that's not something I need. I definitely didn't want another Primaris lieutenant. Like I don't really play 40k anymore, so that's not something. But like the Excelsior, I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I realized that the face looks like the '80s Clash of the Titans. What's the dude's name? He like turns into like a demon basically. I forget his fucking name. Anyways, but yeah, if you look it up, you'll see the fucking the similarity there. But getting back into hobby progress, uh, I was able to do a tabletop, not my tabletop, but a tabletop for my Luna Wolves. So for the Heresy event, I was able to do kind of a tabletop kind of thing. Most of it was painted, minus a few things. And Horus was almost painted. I have to touch up his the wolf pelt and just like some other little odds and ends. But he, for the most part, was completed, and I was happy the way it turned out. I think I would want to like even get a second one and kind of see like how I can do that one differently. But I think that's just me, just wanting to be a better painter kind of thing. Um, and I've been looking into like how to do the non-metallic metal type
Uh,
thing, and I've been like I just want to know if I can do it. Not necessarily that I like it, because I actually like the metallic colors, like the true metallic
hmm.
color. I like that better, just in all honesty. But I just want to see if it's something I can do, like with a blade. You know what I mean? If I can turn like if I can make the Paragon blade look different by doing like a non-metallic metal look instead of everything else being metallic, that'd be something to just like kind of set it differently, set it aside from everything else. Um, but I finished Horus. I was able to finish off the Justarin. The only thing I didn't do was the shoulder pads that go over. I'll eventually do those because now all of that's kind of on the back burner, and I'm committed. I said it for months that I'm committed to do the Gene Stealer Cults commission that I've been doing, and then like non G, I had done for a friend non GW anything any war games. It was a D&D figure. It was a Tiefling sorcerer, I think. So yeah, I completed one of them. There's a second one that I have to do, but he liked it, so I was glad. I was happy about that. Other than that, oh, just today actually, as of the day of recording, I cleaned up my hobby area because it was fucking cluttered with everything. There was fucking shit thrown everywhere on that table, and I finally fucking organized it. I went to like the Family Dollar nearby, got a new drawer, and started organizing everything. So now everything's cleaned off of my table. It looks good, and I know where everything else is now. I found shit that I thought I forgot, that I thought I didn't have anymore. So that I'm kind of that as hobby progress. As part of, I don't think I've bought anything new. I've kind of said that I wasn't gonna buy anything Warhammer for the next few months. I'm only gonna paint because I have a lot of shit to paint already. I mean, 40K alone, I have so much shit to paint, but even that's on the back burner. But AOS, I have 2 different armies that I want to paint there, and then for Heresy, I was thinking about a lot of the MK3 stuff that I have, saving that instead of using it for the Luna Wolves. I think I might save it and use it for Dark Angels, because I love me my Dark Angels in 30K and 40K. Fuck all your Heresy jokes and blah 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 blah. I'm fucking tired of them. But I think I'm going to save them for that. So when Book 9 comes out, because that is definitely a book that I'm going to buy when it's for pre-order. Probably in like 2 years. It's going to take a while. But I am going to get it. And I think that's pretty much hobby progress.
I'm actually in the same boat. I'm like, I need to calm the fuck down on buying Warhammer stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get a house right now, so most of my money is going into savings.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna get the new Knights book,
Mm-hmm.
the Chaos Knights.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just getting the Codex. I have 3 Knights already that I use for Chaos. One Gallant magnetized to be whatever I need it to be, and 2 of the Thermal Spear Chainsaw Baby Knights.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm fine with that for now.
Yeah.
I have enough Chaos that I don't need a full Chaos Knight army.
Yeah,
Same way I do with Imperium.
Yeah.
And after I'm done with Iron Warriors and Thousand Suns, which I have pretty much everything I need, I just gotta put it together and paint it.
Mm-hmm.
Which painting is gonna be a huge focus for me because the amount of models I'm gonna buy is coming down to almost nothing.
Mm-hmm.
If I see something on the San Antonio Biso trade group that's like a really good deal,
Mm-hmm.
I might go for that. Definitely anything we get from Mike Brown, but nothing like new in box, nothing expensive. Just that's $100. Let me save up for 3 weeks instead of just buying it because I want it right away when I'm not gonna fucking open it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the thing that like me not buying shit is kind of put into perspective. I'm like, oh yeah, I still have fucking what is it? The Warhammer Underworlds. I have Night Vault. Haven't fucking touched it. Like I barely put.
Which
together.
it would be great, I would love to play that game again. I liked it.
I thought Shadespire and then Night Vault.
Yeah, once we got the hang of it, it was.
Yeah, it was great. It was a fun game. It's just the fact that like I have so much shit already that I have to pay. I have 2 other war bands besides the original box and the Night Vault box. So like I have 2 other ones, your orcs and then my Skaven. So I'm kind of like, well, what the fuck? Like I have so much shit here that it's. I now understand, like, I have to kind of calm down unless it's something that I absolutely need. And in the case of Forge World, like, the 40K side, unless they are saying, like, fucking Fulgrim is back. And I'll be like, alright, I'm back into 40K and I'm going to get the new Fulgrim model. But other than that, like, there's not much that's going to get me into it. There are these rumors, always rumors, that, oh, there's going to be an Imperium versus Imperium box. It's going to be Dark Angels versus someone else. And that's when they're going to launch the line. I don't think the line's ever going to fucking come out for 40K. It doesn't fucking matter anymore. So that's the only thing that would draw me back. Like if they gave me
I don't know what they're
like
taking their sweet time for on releasing the next Primarch. I mean, why stop at just Gilliman? Why give Chaos 2 and only 1 for the Imperium?
I don't know. But speaking, that kind of moves us into one of our main topics is GW and what they're doing. Because if you haven't heard, they're gonna do a price hike on a lot of stuff. Now, in some case, like in most cases, it's only like $5 more.
But some of them went up there.
Some of them went up like $15,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't understand why for some of them. Now, I don't have the list in front of me, and you can look it up. I'm not. Come on.
It was a long list, so we're not gonna read it off to you.
Yeah, but for the most part, like everything, like it seems like all they wanted to do was just like, oh, this is an odd number. So let's just move it to something. Let's just move it in increments of 5. Like something was like 43.25. All right, it's now $45. And I guess, but what is that? What's the purpose of it? And then they did like shit kits too that nobody buys
Mm-hmm.
anymore. Like, what's the point of raising Space Marine Tactical Squad an extra $5 when nobody's buying them because they themselves have started to phase them out and made them like a nothing. You know what I mean? Why use that when you can get a Primaris for yeah, you don't have weapon options, but you get 5 and they're 2 wounds each. And they have access to the bolter rule, so who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? So uh, it's a weird thing. I know I mean we're probably just bitching, you know what I mean, about it, but I think it's just something to take a look at. Like
Yeah,
what are they doing?
I don't understand why they felt the need to do this. The start collecting boxes went up again. They're at what, $90, $95?
Yeah, they were usually like in the 80 range. Now they're 80 to 85. Now they're in the 90 to 95. So they went up about $10.
And I really don't see the need. It's not like business is so slow that they're like, oh, we need to get a little bit more money out of this.
I mean, they did another bonus like not too long ago, saying like, hey, they had like a $5 million or like a 5 billion or like a ridiculous amount, whether it was million or billion, it was 5 something, and they split it. You know, it was a bonus that they gave to every GW employee, which is cool, but now you're not happy with that. You want to just tax more money. And the good thing about a start collecting box was that I can spend $80 and I have a 500 point army. It's a perfect starter army if I want to get into AOS or into 40K. Now $10 doesn't seem like much, but when your aim is to get kids or like teens into this, $10 is a lot because they don't fucking have access to a lot of money. To us, it's no like big deal, like an extra $10 if we really want to start that. But for a teen that's just getting in, it's prohibitive to actually get people into your game.
And
Prohibitive.
the Lord of Change was one of the biggest ones.
Mm-hmm.
It was going from 115 to 140 because they wanted it to be at the same price as the Great Unclean One and the Keeper of Secrets.
Mm-hmm.
That was their only thought. Hey, like, hey, this Greater Demon doesn't cost as much as this other Greater Demon. Let's raise the price on it.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck you.
I don't know. It's an.
I'm glad there's China casters out there. You know, fucking ungrateful fucks.
And that was another thing with the Forge World thing where we talked about, in the beginning of the year, I think, when Forge World raised their prices, and we were just getting into everything. We're like, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
Like I said, elitist.
I don't understand the thought process, just to make more money, but I think by keeping it at a reasonable price, you can sell more things because people are more willing to buy that. But I guess their philosophy is just like they're gonna buy it anyway, so fuck them. And it's true. There's still gonna be people that are gonna buy them. They're gonna buy them at the prices that they are. A lot of people won't go to recast. A lot of people won't go to do secondhand type things like on eBay and things like that. But that also makes the secondary market hard because they're like, well, now that price has to be raised for something else. So it kind of it affects everything in the hobby. Like even the paints, you know what I mean? The paints went up by a few cents, but they still went up. Now a regular pot is what, like $4.45 or something like that. And then I guess they're starting to. I think they're starting to realize that those pots are nothing, and they're starting to make the bigger ones, like the air pots that they have.
Mm-hmm.
So they're starting to make bigger ones, but those are like $7.50. So you're like, okay, $7.50 for this if I'm gonna buy this. And the thing is that those are like the most readily available, so they're gonna be selling a lot. And the contrast paints, I still haven't worked with one of them. I bought one of the contrast paints, and I was gonna run it through an airbrush, but I still haven't even done that. I don't know if I really want to. I don't know if it's how it's gonna really react in an airbrush, but I'm gonna give it a try and kind of see what happens there. But this whole
I've seen a lot of people that are using contrast over silver
mm,
to make that colored metallic look,
mm-hmm.
and it looks kind of nice.
Yeah, I've seen some things like they were able to do like the heresy Thousand Suns, like the way that they would paint them. They do the metallic, and then they'd use like the Tamiya clear coat. They did that with the Blood Angels red or whatever, the contrast paint, the red contrast paint, and they did it, and it looked pretty much the same. So it's just like, oh, okay, it's maybe a little more, it's just a little easier of a look that you can accomplish. But when it comes to the paint, I think even the Tamiya paint is cheaper, and you get more of that than you would the contrast paint. Because the contrast paint, even though it's in between the bigger GW bottle and the little GW bottle, or the normal GW bottle, it doesn't really it doesn't really, it's right in the middle, so you're really not getting more value for your money there. So I don't know. The contrast paints look cool, but I just don't know what their value is. I don't know what their value is to someone like me that's kind of like in that intermediate that's doesn't really use the I know why they made them, because they're easy, they want people to paint their shit. So that's why they make the contrast super easy. Just boom, boom, boom. You're done. You know what I mean? That's why they have the battle ready, because I think they're going to be their lingo. I think a lot of it is starting to turn to GW wanting to run tournaments again. Like wanting to run sanctioned GW tournaments. And they're not going to accept, they're not going to accept non-painted. They'll accept battle ready. And what's battle ready? I'm glad you asked. You just use these contrast paints. You do a little dry brush, and you are done. That's battle ready. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of things are kind of leading to GW wanting to do a tournament series. And that leads us into our second topic. Go ahead and explain it, John, because I don't know the details. You do. So go ahead and take from here.
Speaking of expensive GW and finding ways to get around the price tag, so a 3D printed army, 100% 3D printed, all across the board. A 3D printed army won first place at a 40K tournament, and the community is in an uproar. So, with this particular group, this was the first time that somebody had taken a non-painted army. This is one of those groups that, like, everybody's, can't play with us if it's not painted. But technically it wasn't against the rules of this particular event.
Okay.
And there was no rule against proxies or 3D printed models, which there isn't in ITC. But now, because this dude won, all the gamers are in an uproar. They're like, no, we need to ban this. I spent $1,000 on my army. It took me 3 months to paint. This guy has a fucking bright neon green, cheap plastic resin knockoff, and this dude took a hard army. He had 3 of the fucking custody grav tanks, and just a bunch of it was a custody army.
Yeah.
All fucking lime green, fucking shitty looking, with the lines that show you that it's 3D printed.
Yeah.
He didn't file it. He didn't even attempt to prime or paint or nothing. It was just completely lined green filament. The head of the ITC guy said there's no specific rule against 3D printed models. However, they're looking into it now.
They had to cave because so many people bitched.
Yeah. So frontline gaming events like LVO and BAO, they do have a ban hammer on 3D printed, but ITC doesn't. And I was telling my buddy Jordan about this because when we're working together, we talk. That's what we talk.
Yeah.
He tells me about the girls he picks up in clubs. I tell him about playing with toys. It's an even exchange, really.
Oh, how sad.
So I mean, we've been working together long enough. He's not nerdy at all, but I do feel appreciated. Like a girlfriend that actually gets listened to. When I can start telling him something and he's able to carry the conversation, not because he cares anything about Warhammer, but because he just remembers what we talk about while we're talking. So he tells me, he goes, so they're going to change an entire rule just because all these salty-ass fucking people lost. And I go, yeah, I mean, basically, it's... some of these guys, like I said, they spend $1,000 on an army. It takes them 3 months to paint it. Some other people, they pay to get their army professionally painted so they can look nice. And
there's no rule against that.
Yeah. So I don't know. How do you feel? How do you feel about that?
It's hard for me to feel anything in terms of this guy found a way. He found the loophole, and now everybody's pissed that he used the loophole because I have to think this through. I have to make sure I choose my words carefully. It's no different than using recasts. He just did it himself. Now, people have do they have a problem with him 3D printing his army, or do they have a problem with like it's 3D printed and I still lost? You know what I mean? Because he proved that he was better at the game than anybody else. And the thing is, there was no rule against 3D printed shit, and it's not a GW sanctioned tournament, so it doesn't fucking matter. And I'm happy for the guy. He found a way that he was happy. Now, he clearly doesn't care about like the hobby side or anything. He just fucking printed out things, stuck them on some bases that I'm sure he 3D printed again, and he just did his thing. He just played. That's no different from me using a recast. Like, you know what I mean? I use fucking recast all the time.
But with recast, once it's primed and painted, you don't know the fucking difference.
There's gonna be people that argue, fucking, and then there's even people that are like, is it recast or is it Forge World? And it's recast, and then they look down on me. And fuck you! I don't even want to play with you at that point. You know what I mean? You're just an asshole, because I'm trying to just have a good game with you. I even went the extra step because I like painting. That I painted my shit. Sometimes you see these guys that buy this fucking Forge World only kind of thing, and it's still unpainted, still there. So I was like, I even went an extra step than you, and you're talking shit to me for what? So I mean, honestly, kudos to the guy, because he was able to, whether he just found the STLs online, the files should make that, or he possibly even created the shit himself. It could be he was a 3D he's a 3D artist, and he was able to mock them up real quick. I don't know if that's in the article. I'm sure I'll look at the article later to get more details. But I'm fine with him doing his thing. You know what I mean? They didn't say that 3D printed was a thing. They didn't say that fully painted or even fucking primed was a thing. So it doesn't really matter. And I wonder if he just did... I'm wondering if that's the only issue. If people are saying that it's just 3D or it's 3D and not painted. Would they have the same issue? Let me ask you this question, John. Would they have the same issue if he 3D printed it, right? And he did the filler primer and he made it just look like it was gray plastic? Would people bitch about that?
No, because then they wouldn't know it was 3D printed.
Exactly, right?
It was the fact that it was not paid for, or not even like
he fucking made that entire army
With
for like $20.
Yeah.
So I mean, kudos to the guy, man. Hey, send me those fucking files because I would want to do that. You know what I mean? I want to talk to this guy now. Be like, hey, where did you get those files? I want to know how they look. Because that's the thing is, I want to know how they look up close, and if I can do that. Because I still like the look of, you know, the I still like the look of like Custodes tanks and all that kind of stuff. So you know what I mean? If I can get a 3D one and I can, with just some simple primer and some simple sanding, make it look exactly, you know, like how much are the tanks? Like 90?
Probably.
There's something like $90, I think. If I can get one for like $10 and put in some extra work and it looks like a $90 tank, I'm fucking fine with that.
I am not mad at it.
I don't understand why anybody else would be. That's one of those things where I think people are just upset that he was able to beat them with a army that they didn't like. That's it. They just didn't like the army.
So it comes down to the character of the person you're playing against. Like the guy from our first GT. He played against me. I told him, hey man, I'm sorry, I'm new. I'm just here to have fun. If I ask you some questions, you know, I'm sorry. And he was like, yeah, no, it's cool, man. And he fucking whomped on me. Of course he did. And then the next guy he played, same thing. He was like, hey man, I'm sorry, I'm new. If I ask you some questions, I'm sorry. Please be patient with me. And, you know, he's like, yeah, cool. But then the guy who was new in the second game had a good army and was winning because he had a good army. I didn't have a good army. I had a fucking fun army. The other guy had a fucking tournament list, and the guy who was supposed to be a veteran was fucking pissed off. And he like shouted, he's like, you're new to the game. You don't even belong at this event. And I told him, I was like, hey, bro, you didn't have a problem playing against me. I go, your only problem is that you're fucking losing right now.
Yep. I think that's it. I think a lot of people are pissed because they lost to it. The people that lost to it are probably the ones making the biggest stink. They're like, what the fuck? This isn't even a fucking army. And fucking, he beat me fucking 36-0. So, I don't know. There's just... I would appreciate if somebody went that extra mile and, like, you know, made it look like it wasn't 3D printed. That'd be fucking awesome. So when he told me, like, oh, dude, like, check it out. This is completely 3D printed. No fucking shit. Do you have the file? Like, I'll pay you for the files. Like, I just need them sent to me. And I want to do the same thing that you are because this is awesome. You made it look, you know, exactly like any other kind of thing. I would love that. But the fact that, like, if I lose to a 3D printed arm, I'm like, oh, fuck it. I fucking lost to some bright green fucking thing. Some, bright green plastic. That's cool.
I mean, I was going to lose no matter what armor you brought to this
game. I'm playing Dark Angels, baby. It doesn't matter. Dark Angels suck, apparently. I don't know. I was even thinking about that. I was thinking because of 40K, kind of like I think I'm done with 40K. Like I might be done with it because unless it's like somebody that wants to play a game like Mark, you know, Mark doesn't get a chance to play as often. Like, sure, I'll play 40K with you. If you really were like, I want to play 40K, I'd play 40K.
On that note, some of my favorite armies in 40K, like my Katachan, completely usable in 30K. So don't worry about having to play 40K with me.
Exactly, and that's the thing is, like, I know that you're completely fine with just like, let's play Heresy. I'm all in for that.
I got my fucking blast templates, my scattered dice.
Exactly, which I think I had to talk to Richard. I had to talk to Richard Taylor. Because in that box of the movement trays for fantasy battles, there was some templates in there. I gotta get back to him and see if he wants those. It's a small template and a flame template, so I had to contact him. Yeah, I mean, the thing I might be done with 40K, and the thing that was kind of drawing me in, like, oh, maybe I'll play 40K, was Apocalypse. And I realized, like, Apocalypse is $120 for the fucking book and some other shit, and it's gonna be even more like simple. And now it's fucking a D12 instead of a D6. I'm like, ugh, I don't know if I want to play this. Like,
Mm-mm.
I don't know. It sounded like a cool idea, but and then when they broke down the rules and were saying that what were we talking about beforehand? We were talking about
D12,
oh yeah,
$120.
yeah. They were talking about the like the kind of rule set. And they were, if you have a group, this is how many it is. And to hit personnel, it's this number, and to hit tanks or vehicles or whatever, it's this number.
I'm gonna go ahead and say this right now. That game sounds like it can go fuck itself because no, no, I'm not doing that.
You're afraid to fucking roll ones on a D12, aren't you?
No, it's not that. Is I don't want to fucking learn a whole new fucking game system when I already have. I mean, I already have Titanicus coming up. You know, Tony was asking me, Ala was asking me. They're like, "Hey, what do you want for your birthday?" And I'm like, I really don't know what I want for 40K right now. And anything for 30K that I would want, you'd have to get through Mike Brown specifically, which makes it a little bit more difficult. I was like, you know what? Fucking Titanicus. The smallest boxes are $35, which is not expensive.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, here's these. Y'all can find them at fucking any of the stores that we go to.
Yeah.
So Titanicus is going to be coming pretty soon, little by little. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy anything for it right away, but whatever I get for my birthday, I'll put together and paint and all that. Jay already said he would teach me how to play.
Yeah.
So
And the Titanicus crew seems to be really cool. I mean, a lot of people are getting into it more recently. So even so, I think even today, Jay posted there's going to be kind of a little learn to play / tournament in September, I believe, at the Dragon's Lair Allen Ranch.
and hey, next year for the canned food drive, we just won't allot any tables for kill teams. We'll put tables for Titanicus instead.
Yeah, if there's not if the kill teams guys, uh, don't want to do a charity thing and they want to do something else, or I don't know what will happen to kill teams in a year. Maybe those people will drop it. I don't know, because you never know in this fucking in this hobby. Things
Necromunda, I don't see anybody playing that shit.
Yeah, which sucks because like that looked like an interesting game,
Yeah,
and I liked some of the.
I think they just took too long coming out with gangs.
It's a possibility. But I mean, the same could be said for like, well, not really. I was gonna say the same thing can be said for Blood Bowl, but in the case of Blood Bowl, there was already armies from the previous editions of that, and all they did was just release a book that said, here are the rules for those new guys, or for those old guys. You can go ahead and use them here, and then they just like slowly dripped out that kind of stuff. I think they kind of did that with Necromunda, but it didn't take the
I
same.
don't think they released the rules for all the old stuff from Necromunda though. Like all the old stuff from the original Necromunda did not get rules, as far as I know, in the new game.
Fair enough. But it's the same thing with Titanicus. Like, there is the rule book, there's the core rule book, and then there's the 2 campaign books, the Death of Moloch and the Titan Death. And apparently they're kind of like, as they add different classes of knights or titans, they put them in those different books. So the thing is, I think those books are maybe like 35, so they're not super expensive. They're just, what they are. Whether or not they'll do like kind of a re-release, like of like everything together, like rules wise, because I know a lot of those things do have lore and everything like everything else. So I'm not too sure on that, but yeah. What can I say? I want to get into Titanicus. That'd be a pretty cool thing.
So, yeah, it doesn't leave room for Apocalypse.
Yeah, Apocalypse is just. I don't know. I don't know who's actually gonna play it. Is the thing. I the thing that they wanted to do was you can play Apocalypse. You can play an Apocalypse game in a day. Boom. Like your biggest. You know, you can bring everything you want and you can finish it in one day. I don't know. I think people could do that now with 8th edition. 7th edition would be fucking hard, because there's a lot of fucking weird rules interactions that people have to remember for like an Apocalypse style game. But an Apocalypse 8th edition game, like, we basically did that, and it really didn't go. There wasn't really too much there. You know what I mean? It seemed, it seems uh, reasonable. I don't know like what promoted them to be like Apocalypse is gonna be like a new way to play. There's gonna be kill teams. There's gonna be Warhammer 40,000, and now there's gonna be Apocalypse, and there's gonna be 3 different ways that you want to play. But the thing is, Apocalypse doesn't function unless it's like 3,000 points or something. Like unless like you have a minimum of 3,000 points, it really doesn't function the way it should. So I'm like, okay, how many people have 3,000 point armies that are going to purchase this and get like the little movement trays that they need and blah blah blah. And then the movement trays suck because they're not squared and they're fucking they're not fantasy. But yeah, Apocalypse seems like a weird thing to me. I'll give it a shot. You know, if somebody's willing to teach me, I guess that system, I'll give it. I'm positive I have at least 3,000 points of Dark Angels. I have probably more. And maybe
throw in your knights, you'll have more.
yeah, if I throw my knights, I'll have like 7,000 or something. Because I think I have like 5K for Dark Angels like already, just done. But the thing is, like, I'm sure it's fun in its own way, the same way that like Kill Teams is. It's just I'm not. I don't know what it is about like the GW line right now where I'm not having fun with it. AOS is fun, like I like AOS, but I think it's just like the more fantasy thing where I'm just like I just like fucking fantasy, and like I like the fact that you can fuck shit up in melee without worrying too much about all this fucking shooting coming your way. So
It's more balanced, you know. Just because you charge doesn't mean you're going first.
Yeah.
In 40K, if you shoot first turn, if you get first turn and you open up on your shooting phase, like you're gonna cripple an army, and then if you get all the charges off, you're gonna finish them off.
So yeah, 40K isn't where it's at for me right now. So I doubt Apocalypse is gonna be hitting that same spot. Sorry, had you on there. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the episode. I don't think there's much else we had to talk about.
I don't believe so.
So, if you want to get in contact with us in any way, if you're listening to this on youtube.com/Grimworks, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We also have this show if you're into 40K or Warhammer in general. If you're into a shit show podcast, it's City. If you like Comic Corner, that's only on iTunes. That's only on your iPod catchers. But if you want to comment, go ahead and comment in the video below. And if you want to contact us in another way, you can go ahead and send us an email at citypod88@gmail.com. And then the subject line, just put 40K so we know it's for the show. But I believe that about wraps it up. Any closing words, John?
I managed to find somebody who has the Firestorm Redouble. I don't know how you pronounce it. It's what do you call the terrain that you pay for? In points?
A fortification.
Fortification. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fortification, and it has 2 battle cannons on it.
Ooh.
So I had always wanted one
Mm-hmm.
for 7th.
Mm-hmm.
In 8th edition, they suck because battle cannons suck in 8th edition. Just like anything else, you have to roll a d6 to get a random shot for.
Mm-hmm.
Except for flamers that auto hit. But you know, rolling, spending 130 points, let's say, for a fucking Lehman Russ with a battle cannon, and then you roll a fucking 2, and then you hitting on 4s, so that's a 50-50 shot. So you only hit once, and then maybe they save it. So it's a pretty wasted, fucking useless tank at that point.
Mhm.
But in 30K, I give him a large blast template. So I managed to find somebody who had these things still in the box.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna be getting that, and using my Catachan as Genos,
Mhm.
since they were all
Geno 5-2.
yeah, since they're all like raggedy anyways.
Mhm.
I figured jungle people, and I'm gonna start playing that in 30K.
Fair enough. Sounds cool. I was actually thinking about like in 30K, how I like the legions, but I really like the look of the Solar Auxilia.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, fuck, do I want to start a Solar Auxilia army? So I don't know. I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about like what would be a good, and I think for the Solar Auxilia, it would be what is a set list,
Mm-hmm.
and I will make that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I will pay for that, and that's gonna be my only Solar Auxilia army. But like in
And the thing about the Solar Auxilia is there's not a lot of models for it.
Yeah.
Like they have the command models, and that's it. You basically use whatever the fuck troops you want to use.
yeah.
And that being said, I know right now I'm not spending much on Warhammer,
Mhm.
but something that I want to start getting a little bit at a time, maybe like a unit a month or a unit every other month,
Mhm.
so that I can replace my Catachan and not use them for 30K,
Mhm.
is I want to use the Russians, the Vostroyan.
Ah.
I want to use that as my 30K
Mhm.
Solar Auxilia army.
Mm.
Just because, the Vostroyan, they have that history. Like,
Mhm.
this rifle is my father's and his father's before him.
Mhm.
The fucking armor is beautiful. The models
Mhm.
are beautiful.
Yeah.
So that's something I want to move towards.
Mhm.
But for right now, it's just going to be Catachan.
Cool. And going forward, I'm hoping that no, not hoping. I'm going to finish this commission, and then I really want to start putting some effort into the Warhammer Fantasy Battles. I have a little 500 point army of Chaos Warriors that I just want to assemble and put on square bases and kind of put them out there. And I want to play. I want to give that game like a fair shot, just to kind of see, because I don't know, just something about it just speaks to me on a different level.
Well, Dave, if you're listening to this, I'm going to have to borrow your elves to play against Roman.
Yeah. But yeah, and that's the thing. Hopefully, there's other maybe just I'm holding on to hope that people that were in the game longer, they're like, oh, I still have that army that's square based. You want to play a game just for fuck's sake and be like, hell yeah, dude, and then fucking it starts growing and bubbling. Then I gotta go to fucking GW headquarters and be like, fucking you assholes, let me talk to Forge World. And then I talk to Forge World and I tell them, hey, look, bitches, you know what? You gotta fucking bring back Warhammer Fantasy Battles. World that was, or the old world, it's fucking heresy for fantasy. Come on, just fucking do it, bro. I'm in. Just do it. What if they did that? What if Forge World was saying like, look, you can use the old GW armies, you can use all of that stuff. Here's just a rule. Here's just the rule book. Here's like the basically 9th edition for Warhammer Fantasy Battles, and here's like some indexes. Would you be interested?
I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna see if David's still cool with me borrowing his elves.
Mm-hmm.
If I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. I'm not gonna force the issue when I already have so many different rule sets in my head.
Yeah, you fucking just get rid of some of them, bro. Get rid of 40K.
So, in conclusion, I don't know. I'm sure some of y'all will have heard this by the time this podcast comes out. But I found out something today. That dumb bitch Belle Delphine. I don't know if you know who that is.
Yeah, I think that chick.
She's a lewd cosplayer. Like, that's all she does is lewd cosplay.
Okay.
She had that video going around Facebook where she was dressed like a little cat and doing the little song about.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know. Anyways,
What? I hope you're wrapping this into Warhammer.
I'm not. I just.
Damn
It's just. Speaking of sad losers,
Uh-huh.
who like games like us, but who actually care about this bitch, because I don't particularly like her.
Mm-hmm.
If it was Nagiri, I'd be all up on it. What's up, Jessica? I love you. But she was selling her little bottles of bath water that she took a bath in for $35, and it even says like for all you sad, lonely gamers, here's my bath water as a memento, and she can't keep up with demand. Like she's selling out on the daily, $35 a pop for like 6 ounces of water, and she puts up a video of her like in the tub and playing in the water and like touching herself all fucking, but still like in a bikini, so not naked. And these guys are just shelling out $35 for little tiny fucking paint pots worth of water. And so yeah, I just wanted to close with that because nerds are disgusting.
You want a grimdark universe? This is how you get a grimdark universe.
This is how you create Slanesh, right?
You get fucking backed up nerds that don't know how to talk to women. And then
This is look. You want to talk to a girl. This is all you gotta do right here. Look. You go up to her, right? You're like, you like Warhammer? That's it. That's all you gotta do. She just needs to know that you are passionate about something. She'll see the passion in your crazy eyes,
and she'll think, if I don't talk to him, he's gonna kill me.
and now y'all are married.
Exactly. Boom.
That's how Eric's gonna get married.
This isn't Perils anymore. This is fucking City Podcast. So if you want more things like that, go ahead and check out City Podcast.
Bye.
God damn it. This is episode number 37 of Perils of the Warp. I've been Roman.
I was John.
Later, dudes.